CISL 650 presents The Best of Food and Wine with Anthony Gismondi and Kasey Wilson live from the Wines of Canada stage at the 2017 Vancouver International Wine Festival. Now, here's Tony and Kasey.
All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine, our final installment from the Vancouver International Wine Festival. It's year 39, and it's a big night. It's Saturday night. It's date night.
Date night. Can't wait to see
There's a lot of interesting costumes about to come through the door.
Exactly.
3,200 of them.
6-inch heels.
6-inch heels. That'll last for maybe 20 minutes.
Hopefully no perfume.
Yeah.
You don't need to get a guy with perfume at a wine show, right?
A guy?
Yeah.
You mean a woman?
No. A woman doesn't have to get a guy with perfume at a wine show.
No. She needs a big bottle of Barolo or something like that.
You're right.
Or maybe what our next guests have brought in to kick off the evening. Taylor Whelan and Scott Locke are from CedarCreek. Taylor makes the wine. Scott sells it. Kind of, sort of, right?
That's it.
How are you, gentlemen?
Very good.
What's more difficult, by the way?
Oh,
selling it.
Selling it. Yeah. Selling a little bit's easy. Selling a lot is hard work, I would say.
We're pretty blessed. We have a great brand, a great history, and
you do.
Yeah, it really takes care of itself for us.
Well, I was there when you started, and you had a crazy name. Uniacke was the name of the winery way back when. Yeah. That was pretty tough to sell wine with that name.
That was.
So I don't know. It was Ingo who came up with the name CedarCreek, but it was a good idea.
Yeah.
And it was a good plan. It was probably the best-looking package in the BC wine business from that day. Pretty much forward. So, you're the theme country. Tons of people here. Have you had a great reception, or do you feel? What do you feel from the people out there? A lot of love?
A lot of love, yeah. A lot of energy. We've got some pretty stellar wines here, and people have really been appreciating them.
You feel like they know your wines even now when they come up to the booth?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of recognition. People say, oh, we've been here. We're really good customers. We're part of the wine club, a lot of that. So.
Yeah. You sit in the meetings with your owners, and then when you make wine, are you making wine for them or yourself or the site, or who's this wine made for initially, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with what we're pouring now is our platinum tier, which is our upper tier. So essentially what we're doing is trying to make wines that express these little select parcels that have a lot of age or something unique about them. So we're being a bit selfish with the winemaking and mostly making it for ourselves, but obviously you always have to keep consumers in mind as well. So.
Yeah, well, they pay the bills, so.
That's right.
Let's start first, so we don't run out of time with the Riesling. You guys have been making great Riesling for quite a while now, and you're making a series of Rieslings. How does it work at CedarCreek?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're really focused on our platinum tier of wines, and we started that program in 2010, where from now on, all of the platinum wines are single block or single vineyard wines.
Okay.
So we have in front of us a block 3 Riesling. We've got an older block of Riesling at the winery.
Which means a small section within the vineyard.
That's correct, yeah. It's only a few acres. It was planted in the early 90s. It's about 25 years old now.
Okay.
So the vines are really reaching their maturity, really balanced fruit. And so we're trying to capture that kind of essence of that block in these wines.
And just make a small amount.
Absolutely, yeah. They're only a few hundred case production. So.
And what do people expect, or what do you think they expect? Maybe, Scott, you could talk about that. When they get a Riesling, is it supposed to be dry? Is it supposed to be sweet? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think, our history and people, as Taylor mentioned, understanding the block program, they've come to expect a very, an off-dry Riesling for us. One that, speaks to the land, speaks about where it's from, and, absolutely over-delivers every time. And one of the cool things is we have a long history now. We were very successful last year with the 2014 winning the Decanter Award for the best white wine in Canada. And people come back and expect this amazing quality every year from us. And with the 25-year-old vines and the old vines, it delivers for us year over year.
Yeah. Pretty interesting wine. I get a lot of talcum powder in that for me, a little bit of that character along with the so many other things, but it's very fresh and floral and inviting wine, easy to like.
Yeah.
And fantastic with food, I would guess.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like Scott said, we're pretty focused on kind of a little bit of residual sugar in the wine, but as you guys know, there's a lot of acidity in the North Okanagan, so, leaving that little bit of sugar, you can have a little bit of RS and still be almost perceptibly dry. So.
And Taylor, you've worked in a lot of different regions.
That's correct, yeah.
Including one of my favorite, Tasmania.
Yes, beautiful spot.
It sure is.
Yeah, I worked at a place down there which was very focused on sparkling wine, actually, traditional method sparklings, producing some very high-end things in a beautiful state, I guess they have in Australia. So.
And cool.
Very cool.
Yes, and do you have any sparkling wine?
We don't make a sparkling at CedarCreek as of now. I won't rule it out.
Yes.
There's nothing in the program at the moment.
It seems like there's a little bit of a sparkling wine revolution going on in the Okanagan.
Absolutely.
It's probably a good thing, because if the locals who are such strong imbibers of our wines, if they get hooked into sparkling wine, we could really have something take off.
I think so too. Yeah, it's a great terroir for it, and like I said, there's a lot of acidity in the North Okanagan, and that's really what you need. So.
Yeah. Scott, we've been talking. You have a great restaurant at the moment that's open from May till September, but you have big plans.
Absolutely. Really exciting things happening at the property. We're going to be expanding, and one of the main focuses of expansion is giving the people of the Okanagan and the people of British Columbia and a lot of our visitors an opportunity to come to the winery year-round, and that's a new restaurant. So a site that a lot of people haven't seen the view from.
Yeah.
The original winemaker's home. We'll be obviously taking that down and making room for a new restaurant full year-round.
Which is quite high up in the vineyards.
Yeah, beautiful elevation overlooking our Gewürztraminer block, and a nice view of the lake, the bridge, and across the valley.
Yeah,
So you're
Mount
demolishing
Boucherie
that.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
It's sad to say.
Yes.
That home was obviously built in 1980, and this summer we're having our 30th anniversary of Cedar Creek. So
Right.
in 87, Senator Fitzpatrick changed the name to
Yeah.
Cedar Creek. So really big year for us.
So that restaurant goes up. That means the other one must be coming down.
Yep, new wine shop, new administrative offices, and Jeremy Tucker, our executive chef for the last 3 years, is going to return full-time this summer and stay on through with the opening of the new restaurant, and hopefully next year at this time.
People often say, well, what does that have to do with the wine? But you've already improved the cellar first, which is usually the way it goes now in serious wineries.
That was job one, and Taylor saw the fruits of that this year with harvest in our new cellar, and doubled our barrel cellar, doubled our capacity, but not doubling the size of our volume. We're going to stay flat at what we produce today, but just make better wines.
And room to move around.
Exactly, elbow room.
That's the best. Eh? We've been talking to people earlier, Taylor, about how in the Okanagan, maybe in the first 10 or 20, I talk about from about the late 80s to 2000, where people making wine, but just not really keeping track of the fruit, making wine. And now it's a big thing. Well, it's not a big thing. It is a thing in the wine business to track every lot and every block, and ferment them separately and move them around the winery separately and look after them separately. That takes a lot of space and a lot of time.
It does, yeah. There's a lot of practices. We try to be as gentle as we can with the wines and with the fruit. So whenever possible, we're not pumping grapes or pumping wine. We're using gravity to do that, and that always takes up space. So that being said, I think it's worth all that extra work and space. You can see it in the wine. So.
Okay, I want to talk about Pinot Noir, because Kelowna in particular is becoming, I think, the center of Pinot Noir in British Columbia. There's some really cool stuff going on. What is it about Kelowna that makes it so well suited to the Kelowna area?
Yeah,
the Mission area. I don't know. What do you call your area? Would you call it
Lakeshore or Lower Mission?
Lakeshore, Lower Mission. Okay. Yeah.
There's a few things. I mean, the lake is there. The lake moderates our climate in the summertime. It cools things down a little bit, and Pinot likes cool.
Yep.
We're also oriented northwest. We're not a south-facing vineyard like a lot of places, and that also keeps things cool. So we all know Pinot loves cool, and cool wines are in right now.
So you don't get that sort of hot setting sun.
No, that's right. Yeah, we face north, so the angle of incidence is a lot shallower, and we're not getting the heat in the vineyard that a lot of south-facing vineyards would. And the other thing is that 25 to 30 years ago, people started planting Pinot Noir in the area, and now the vines are mature, the vineyards are mature, and they're giving us really stunning fruit to work with. So, as things mature and get older and more established, wine quality continues to improve.
Yeah. So we have another Platinum in front of us. This is the 2014 Platinum Block. Is it 2? 3?
Block 2.
Block 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Where is Block 2?
It's in our home vineyard. We start with Block 1 right down on Lakeshore Road, and we go all the way up to Block 5 at the top of the hill, which is our Chardonnay. There is a couple of old Pinot blocks mixed in there. There's Block 2, which is...
below the new restaurant.
Yeah, it's kind of off... I guess it's to the west of the new restaurant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so straight out. It's an older block of Pinot, 25 years old again. It's planted on soils that have a lot of clay in them. So... The qualities of the wine really reflect the clay. It's compared to our Block 4, the Block 2 is a little bit lighter in profile, a little bit more floral. We see like forest floor notes on it quite often. And the tannins are certainly a little smoother and softer.
Definitely soft, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't need too big a tannin in my Pinot.
No, that's right. And it's a challenge for us. Our site really likes to produce tannin, so the challenge for us is really kind of restraining the structure of these Pinots and making them elegant.
So if I'm buying the Platinum Series from Cedar Creek, am I waiting to drink those wines, or should I keep them a bit, or how does that go? I mean, we're drinking them now. They're pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the wines are good to drink now, but like I said, we're making these wines as kind of connoisseurs wines or winemakers wines, so they're certainly built to age as well. There's lots of acidity in that Riesling. There's lots of tannin in the Pinots and in the Bordeaux Reds that we're making as well. So the idea would be that okay to drink now, but certainly you'll gain some benefit from laying them down for a few years.
And we talk about a sub-appellation up there in that area for...
There certainly is, yeah. Nobody's decided what we're going to call it yet.
Pinot Town.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It could very well be.
Yeah, I guess there'll be a big fight over the name, as there always is.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's right.
People are fighting about small names for small parts in wine. I think it's all good.
Yeah, it's just the name, right? What's really important is the terroir and the vineyards. So.
Great to catch up.
Oh, I just have one question for Taylor.
Quickly.
Because it's theme country, Canada.
Yeah.
Is there someone you admire in the world of Canadian wine?
Oh, there's all kinds of places that I admire. I mean, obviously...
A person.
A person?
Yes.
Probably Darryl Brooker. I worked for him for 5 years.
Yes.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He's a very hard worker, and he's really pushed the industry forward since he arrived about 15 years ago. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Great. He is a super hard-working guy.
And a great guy, too. He's still my boss, and I enjoy working with him. So,
yeah. Gentlemen, Scott Locke and Taylor Whelan from Cedar Creek, thanks for joining us tonight. I know you've got 3,000 people waiting for you out there. A couple more hours, and then maybe you'll have a beer. Who knows?
It'll be time for a nice cold frothy.
Yeah, and we'll catch up with you in the Okanagan soon.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
Cedar Creek, we had two really outstanding wines here, both in the Platinum Series, the Pinot Noir and the Platinum Riesling. The Riesling, by the way, is about $24 a bottle and widely available in private wine shops. And $52 will get you the Block 2 Pinot Noir, or sign up for the club at the winery. That's probably the best. You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. We're kicking off the last night at the festival. We got plenty of guests coming up. Stick around. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
We'll be right back.